24 games, first time you've lost in that time. Must be disappointing. How's it feel as captain, and how do you pick your team up now going into the next games?
Yeah, listen, it's never nice to lose a game. And obviously, no matter how we conceded the goal, who scored the goal, is a bit disappointed. But, the games come thick and fast. We have to take this on the chin. And luckily for us, it's halfway. It's very cliche, of course, but it is. And I'm really looking forward to the game at Anfield in a couple of weeks.
Obviously, you've just mentioned it there, the big talking point, the big incident. I was looking at you. I've seen you be angry before. You was very angry today. Have you want to talk us through that? What your opinion was on that?
It was a solid tackle, in my opinion, and I think everyone else can agree with that. It was a yellow, worthy of a yellow. Obviously, we played on, and when the ball got with the goalie, I think Costas got some treatment, and obviously I was asking where's the yellow, and obviously there's a linesman, there's a fourth official, but no one wanted to take that big decision because obviously it's going to be a second yellow, and eventually obviously it's quite ironic that he scores the winner tonight. And
obviously he scores with Tsimikas being off the pitch as well, which must feel like a double blow as well, right?
Yeah, obviously the whole situation I think is not great. It's not great, but yeah, we can talk about decisions all day long, and I think last year I've been in the bad books already in the beginning of the season. So we just keep going. I think the ref today with his team made a mistake in this particular moment. Everyone unfortunately can make mistakes, but it was quite an obvious one in my opinion.
Yeah, and then I just want to say on the performance, it felt a little bit disjointed. It wasn't. I've been at 5-6 of your games this season. The tempo of the ball wasn't moving the same way. Again, I was watching you vividly telling people, "Come on, concentrate, get into the game." Did it feel a little bit off from the start?
I think obviously the break didn't help the start. I won't blame it because I think the first couple of balls we give away too easy. Obviously, they want to show a reaction, obviously, from the last game we played against each other. And we all knew that. I've mentioned it before. And we had to be much more solid in possession in the beginning, switch it from side to side, and don't give them really momentum to get into the game. And I think we did it better, obviously, towards the end of the first half, in my opinion. Second half was also at times better, but obviously not consistent and good enough. And we have to work on them.
Just looking ahead for the rest of the season, obviously coming into this season, the outside noise was it's going to be a difficult season for you guys, a lot of change, etc., etc. How do you feel you will manage the second half of that season now with expectation that you're going to win not only league but everything else?
Listen, I think if you play for Liverpool, I think the expectation is always there. And I'm really looking forward to everything that's coming our way, all the difficult moments that will come our way. Obviously, hopefully, a lot of good moments. And I think it's only a beautiful thing to be in the position where we are. So embrace it. And that's why I will mention to the boys as well. It's a very privileged position. We work so hard to be in this position. So let's keep working hard and let's see what it brings us.
Absolutely. Appreciate you as always, big fella. Nice to see you, bro.
All round, but let's be honest, should he be on the pitch?
Well, I think if Stuart Atwell gets the first one right when he gives him a yellow card, he puts himself in a position, Stuart Atwell, because I don't think the first one is a yellow card when he goes in here. Bergvall, this was one on Luis Diaz. The only thing I would say with Bergvall, it gives Stuart Atwell an opportunity, a decision to make, and I think Stuart Atwell got that one wrong. I don't think that was it, the yellow card. I mean, when we go to the second one with Tsimikas, I've got no defence for Bergvall. I think that was this one here. You see he lunges, he catches Tsimikas, and that one should have been a yellow card. If he gets one right, one wrong, you can't even it up. And Liverpool are certainly punished off the back of that with a few seconds later, the ball in the back of the net.
It's very difficult for anybody to understand, isn't it? How if you get booked for the first one, you don't get booked for the second.
And the second one there is worse than the first one, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And you can see Bergvall running off, with his head between his tail between his legs, if you like. Because if you look at that one there, it's rash. And when he's starting to get closer to Tsimikas, you're kind of cringing because a yellow card's coming. And then the referee doesn't give it. It's baffling.
He plays the advantage, and we are fully expecting him to go and find Bergvall, and Bergvall goes. Bergvall goes over the other
trying
side.
to hide, but it has a monumental effect on the rest of the game, because what then happens? He has to come off for treatment, then that leaves Liverpool with 10 men. So you can see him here. He has to come off for 30 seconds. That's the rules. So not only do you still have Bergvall on the pitch, Liverpool now have to play with 10 men. And you can see that it obviously changes the shape of the team. You've got Endo and Virgil van Dijk. You've got Diaz playing now as a left-back. And it just has a huge effect. But what I will say is Spurs certainly make it count. It's a brilliant piece of forward play. He gets hold of it and he plays Bergvall in, who's the one minute he's the villain for Liverpool, and he becomes obviously the hero for Tottenham Hotspur. A brilliant piece of play from their perspective. But if you are a Liverpool player, Liverpool coach, Liverpool fan right now, you are thinking, how on earth is he on the pitch? And not only that, why is our left back not on the pitch?
They are absolutely seething here.
But that's a great goal.
Oh, take nothing away from the goal. It's brilliant. Solanke, absolutely magnificent, who I thought absolutely worked his socks off. Not just that, he's been like that all season, a lone striker, running in. He then gets his body between him and Kanate, so he can't get it, and then he sees the run from Bergvall. But I can understand Liverpool's frustration. Of course,
you'd be fuming, wouldn't you?
Once the first yellow card has been given, and then you see the tackle on Tsimikas, if that's the other way, you want in a second yellow card, without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, the ridiculous thing about it is we constantly demand consistency, and we sometimes think, well, different referees referee games in different ways and so on and so forth, and we'll view... But the challenges are virtually identical within 10 minutes of each other in the same game with the same referee. So in that sense, you can legitimately ask, where is the consistency?
Well, I'm not one for the fact that if the referee felt something inside him where I maybe shouldn't have given a yellow card for the first one, I don't think you can then carry on the game and go, well, I'm going to make up for it, and not book him for the second one, which is, for me, a more obvious yellow card than the first one. Yes, on the first one, he doesn't really make contact, but he's running at speed, Diaz, down the wing. He gets away from Bergvall, and there's minor contact, if any, but the referee's seen it and gone, yep, that's a yellow card. And it's the second one for me. It's 100% a yellow card, and therefore he shouldn't be on the pitch, and the guy's got the winning goal. But
do you think the first one's a yellow card?
Well,
but it becomes irrelevant, doesn't it?
It does, but do you think the first one...
But what I will say is, I think what saves Bergvall is that they pay an advantage. I think if it would have been an initial foul, he blows up, I think all the players would have got round him, and I think it would subsequently been a second yellow card. Yeah. But I think because there's such a long passage of play after it, I think that's maybe what ends up saving him. Because you think, OK, so much has gone on. But I was always amazed that Liverpool players didn't make more of a fuss about it. They sort of almost let it go.
Well, they did go and question the referee at the end, Virgil van Dijk in particular. And you can see him saying, it's a second yellow, it's a second yellow. Let's hear from the Liverpool captain with Patrick Davison.
Virgil, we saw you talking to the referee at the end. Probably don't need to be a detective to work out what it was about, but can you give us an outline of what you said?
Listen, I think it was quite obvious that it was going to be a second yellow. Obviously, I think it was pretty clear, and it was a coincidence. Then a minute later, obviously, he scores the winner. But listen, it is what it is. He made a mistake in my opinion, and I told him that. And he thinks maybe he didn't, but it was quite obvious, I think, and everyone on the sideline knew exactly that it was supposed to be a yellow.
Yeah, I mean, on top of the fact that, I think everyone would agree, it should have been a second yellow. Am I right in thinking you were then without Tsimikas on the pitch at that second that the goal goes in?
I have no idea. Obviously, it goes quite quick. The fact is that he should have been off. I think there's a linesman there, there's a fourth official there, there's VAR, there's the referee, and he doesn't get a second yellow. I'm not saying that this is the reason why we lost, of course, tonight, but it was a big moment in the game.
I suppose, that decision aside, bigger picture, they weren't at their fluent best.
No, they were very average today. Let's be totally honest. I think they didn't have that spark. The game first half was very difficult. It never really got any flow. Bentancur was obviously had his injury. That took an 8-minute spell out the game, and it was a little bit flat. They lost Quansah, and it just never really caught fire like we expected it to. And then second half, I honestly thought Liverpool would go on with a quality, would have made 3 subs, and then that would then make it count. I think you certainly have to congratulate Tottenham. They have taken an enormous amount of stick, as Michael says, this season. The manager's been questioned by pretty much everybody. The effort they showed was absolutely incredible. Young players playing out of position. Archie Gray was magnificent today. They brought in a goalkeeper. I thought it was a really impressive performance from Spurs today, under real pressure and intensity. After losing the weekend, I thought they were excellent.
No, I'd echo what Jamie says. I think this can be a performance they can be proud of. I think they got Liverpool on a night when they weren't at the best, nowhere near the best. As I said, when they came here and beat Spurs 6-3, that was demoralising for them. And Ange, that's question after question. But I mean, I have to look at Bergvall, 18 years of old. Kinski, 21 years of age, just come in, and Archie Gray. I thought the three of those players were absolutely magnificent. Bergvall, certainly the way he pressed and made the opportunity for Pedro Porro, but from back to front, I think it can be a performance they can be proud of. But it is only halfway, and I don't see Liverpool playing like this at Anfield in the first week of February when the second leg is.
It's amazing though, football, isn't it? When you feel how aggrieved Ange was the weekend, and then all of a sudden we roll it on 3 or 4 days, and then you get that today. The emotion that you have to go through as a manager, and then you get that little break. Sometimes you need that. You need a bit of luck in football.
Yeah, you see the handball situation at the weekend, and after it, he's blaming the referee. When I wasn't too sure. Tonight they're on the right
side of one
decision.
Exactly.
Football's a game of fine margins at times, and tonight they can probably count themselves a little bit fortunate with that decision. But then on the other hand, I think you'll be proud of the performances.
I just don't think Stuart wants to go back on the mic again. It feels like gladiators.
Well,
born into the game, and it gives you. But even what I like all of that. I like what you just shown there, but I also like how he was with everybody when he walked off, and he's high-fiving people. He's obviously got a nice way about him. He's enjoyed the moment. I mean, he's an incredible talent. 21 years of age. He needed a bit of luck, obviously, with Trent's shot when you get one of your centre-backs gets in the right position for you. But all in all, what a debut for him.
But also, what we expect from goalkeepers now, and particularly what's expected from them here, and to only have those 3 days and to understand where the position of your teammates are when they need you to have the ball at your feet, that's where the credit is.
Yeah,
as well.
I think it's common knowledge now in modern football that goalkeepers need to be able to play with their feet, and he's not had enough time to. He's obviously been recruited at Tottenham for a reason. He's clearly got a huge amount of potential, but he's clearly got a huge amount of ability right now in the moment, and he showed it tonight. Confidence. He's got probably one of the best front threes in the league, if not Europe, pressing him tonight in terms of Salah, Jota, Diaz when he came on, Núñez, Curtis Jones adding to that press, and he just looked confident. It was fantastic to watch.
Did your dad used to throw oranges at you for you to
Keep them up.
He didn't stop the counter-attack. Now, every manager would prefer, of course, a second yellow compared to a counter-attack that goes on without one player and that still has to go 80 yards maybe. And then the second thing is if you stop a counter-attack with a reckless challenge, then he could still give his yellow, but he didn't see it as a reckless challenge. And probably that's the second thing we can debate about. So, yeah. It is what it is. The positive thing for us is that we hate to lose. I hate to lose. But the good thing is, if you ever have to lose, it's better to lose when there's still a second leg to be played.
We're not sure, are we, about this?
I'm pretty
play
sure.
advantage.
I think he's got that wrong.
Yeah.
I think you are.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're not sure
it's
about
not usual
boys.
to go back and book somebody, but referees certainly can do that. And it was definitely a second yellow card. But he's obviously spoken to someone. I think when you speak to referees, I think most of them would say that I've seen it happen. And I think that's probably what ends up saving him, the fact that a lot happens after that. But I think if everyone would say that is a second yellow card. It's a cynical tackle.
I thought he might have come out and said he was unfortunate to get the first one. Not the fact that... for me, it was a clear second yellow card. The second challenge was a yellow card. So that was a surprise for me. I thought he might have gone down the first one.
Yeah. That's the first one. I mean, the other thing with what he said was, unless it is a cynical tackle, you could argue that that is a cynical tackle. You could argue, couldn't you, Izzy?
It's a very cynical tackle.
He's trying to stop a
counter-attack. He's stopping a counter-attack, but you can
Yeah.
see it happening before it happens because you know that he's already on a yellow card and you think he's actually going to get sent off here. And even after the play resumed, you can just see this happening a mile off. He's trying to stop Tsimikas. He's on a high. He's had a fantastic game. It's a late challenge. Yes, it's a yellow card. it doesn't get given, and then ironically he goes on and scores the winner.
So in the Premier League, just the one goal tonight in favour of Spurs. Yesterday, Arsenal lost 2-0 at home to Newcastle United. It was Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak that were the difference for the Magpies. And now we've got the second legs to come, and then the final, of course, on March 16th. Let's take you out to our rules expert, though, Christina Unkel, to get her thoughts on a couple of things that we saw tonight. Christina, I guess we've got to start with that yellow card, or the yellow card that never came. Should Lucas Bergvall have been sent off in the end, do you think?
So I'm going to agree with the boys here. Yes, Nigel, I'm agreeing with you. That should have been a second yellow card for it. And to use Nico's words, you know, this textbook kind of a yellow card. And the reason we're giving it for is for the reckless nature of that challenge. Advantage is being given here, or at least the referee has not given the advantage in that respect of coming back and giving it to. He's allowing the game to flow in that respect. You can do this. This is allowed. But coming back to give that second yellow card, not because it's a stopping a promising attack or a technical nature, but because the reasoning here would be for a reckless challenge due to the severity of potentially impacting that player.
I mean, it's one of those where you pick your reason. It is also a tactical foul. They're going on the counterattack, and it's reckless, and it's late. And it's there, you know, he's stopping and counter. I mean, it qualifies under every single check box for me that it's a second yellow card.
Mm-hmm. Nico, you're in agreement?
I mean, I'm putting myself in Arne Slot's shoes. I understand that you can have an off game. Liverpool have been exceptional all season long, save a couple of games here or there, in 2 games now that they've lost. And you're going to grind out a result somehow. And then you feel so hard done by a botched call, because this is a botched call. This is a clear and obvious error.
By the referee.
Mm-hmm. It feels like you were wronged, and there's no way to correct that.
Mm-hmm. And at that level there, it makes a difference. When you talk about the game being in the 85th minute or so, your Liverpool, the quality of players that you've got, and you go against Tottenham when there'll be a man down, that makes a difference at that high level.
And Christina, if he had given the red card, wouldn't it have been better for him to give that in that instance, or VAR then still can't check it because it was 2 yellows, or they could check it then because it was a red?
Poppy, you hit it on the head. That tackle itself doesn't rise to the level of a direct red card, which is only what VAR can check. And because it would have just been a yellow card, and that's all the recommendation or the preferred decision would have been, VAR can't intervene. So really the communication has to happen between the officials on the field and the fourth official that's sitting right there and standing, giving that information to the referee. Come back. If you're giving advantage, you can come back and still give that yellow card, and just heads up, it's a second yellow red. We understand the gravity of the game and kind of what it means. And sometimes as referees, we have the ability to manage the game and maybe manage a situation. But in this one, this is what we call 100% misconduct and a yellow card.
No, all good. Understood. She answered my question in that.
Okay.
No, she answered my question. Because I think the awkwardness of it, the only thing I could think of is that he let the play go on, and then he either forgot about it, or he was like, I gave him the advantage. I don't know. I'm just trying to see how it's possible.
It's happened before.
How can you make that mistake?
Yeah, but Grella, referees have played advantage before and gone back and booked players after, because they take an eye on it. So that referee there has to own it. He made a massive mistake in that game. Mm-hmm. There's no other ways to look at it.
Okay, Chris. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christina.
Yeah, I would say the one thing, and kind of to Grella's point, that's what I kept trying to find on the clip, is the body language of the center referee. I never saw him put an arm up in the air indicating an advantage was being given. And that's kind of one of those things. I try to take a look at some different angles and whatnot. I don't see him putting his hand up. So therefore, he's indicating he doesn't even have a foul in the first place, which is why he would not come back and give that yellow card. And so that's just a conversation of, does the referee did the referee even see that it was a foul and gave the advantage, or did the referee not think it was a foul in the first place? That's really, from us, from an educational standpoint, what we have to identify first. Did he even see the play to even recognize that it was a foul in the first place?
Right. Oh boy, if you're missing those.
If he doesn't see that as a foul, then I don't know how he's refereeing.
Yeah,
if you're missing those.
Whichever way you look at it, it's an awful mistake of the referee, period. There's no other way to sell this. But I mean, that's the nature of the game, right? The referees can also make mistakes. It's just that in this era with VAR, it feels like we're scrutinizing refereeing even more. Christina, I do want to ask you about something, a particularity that happened in this game. We finally got the in-stadium VAR announcements. I'm not a fan. I don't think it adds more than what we already know, Christina, but from the referees committee, you like this?
So, Nico, I'm with you on it. There's certain situations, right? If right here, right, the goal being taken back for offsides is like, right, goal denied because of offside. Everyone's like, of course it is, right? So there's certain situations that are just obvious, that are factual. Also, Nico, you have a higher level, and I can say this, have a higher level of knowledge of the laws of the game than what I would say is the average footballer. And I have, done rules analysis or the laws of the game analysis around the world, and I could tell you, not everybody knows the laws of the game around the world. So I kind of defer a little to you on that, Nico. So I do like it for situations that might be gray, where people don't understand that it was a foul that occurred within the attacking phase of play. So everyone's focused on that final goal scored, but yet they didn't realize the conversion or the transition of play happened because of a foul. So there's certain gray and subjective areas that I prefer, and I appreciate it when it's explained. But for a simple offside, it just kind of seems a little bit unnecessary waste of time. But it's kind of fun to get on the mic as a referee.
When it's objective, I completely understand it. It might feel redundant, right? But I do agree with you, Christina. I would like an explanation. When it's a handball and you're like, why is that a handball? Explain. He's making his body unnaturally bigger. And from my judgment, from the distance of where that shot came off, convince me about your call, something like that. I don't know what the explanation is going to be. So I'm not texting you after the game, Christina, hey, this is what happened, and I'm sending you a 1 minute long WhatsApp audio message so I can get an explanation. Hopefully, instead of just saying, I deemed it was a handball, penalty. That's not going to give me, of course, you're giving the penalty. You thought it was a handball. Do you think they're going to explain why these subjective calls are being called the way that they are?
I mean, there's a very big push to having the audio conversation between the VAR and the referee being public and available to be heard by the in-stadium, right? I believe cricket does it. So, or it might be rugby, but I know there's a push for that because I think that's what you're all are looking for, right? To your point with the handling as an example, your arm is outside a natural position. Okay, but how extent and is the arm moving towards it and how does that negate? So it's just finding those buzzwords, which is kind of what I do with you guys, where instead of taking 20 years of experience and explaining it, trying to bring that down into a very small soundbite to be able to communicate that information within 5 to 10 seconds in a live game and not taking an entire analysis.
Well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see you moving forward. Christina, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Glad my technology worked today.
Was a bit of a new look, wasn't it, to see them.